I was thinking about this. So Morphe just signed a deal with Charli D'Amelio and Dixie D'Amelio. They're gonna do a fucking palette with them.
That's makeup, right?
Yes. So they so Morphe recently dropped Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star is like kind of not old, but I mean he's an older guy.
He's been old head for a while.
Yeah, and his fans are not necessarily like new in this game. You get Charli D'Amelio, who has an army, literally a fucking army. She has 70 million followers on TikTok.
And think about how many of those 70 million don't wear makeup right now and will start to wear makeup.
That's what I'm saying, dude. If you can lock in a deal with Charli D'Amelio right now, you are guaranteeing that you are getting millions of kids, literally like actual children,
hooked on makeup.
Just hooked on whatever you sign with. Like, for example, Addison Rae just signed an exclusive Spotify podcast deal with her mom. Dude, you know how many kids are going to start listening to podcasts because Addison Rae has a podcast?
None, because it's mom focused.
No.
It's the mom demo.
No, it's not, dude.
Name one 7 to 12-year-old who's going to listen to a podcast.
You're 100% wrong.
Name one.
I will tell you why I will tell you
they got
exactly
less than a goldfish attention standard.
I will tell you why you are 100,000% wrong.
I'm listening.
Addison Rae got famous for doing dances with her mom. Her fans are children. Who do they live with? Their moms. The children live with their moms. And if Addison Rae is like, apparently the podcast is about growing up and puberty and asking your mom the types of questions that you might be afraid to ask your mom. You don't think that millions of teenage girls are going to listen into that podcast because they're afraid to ask those type of questions to their own mom? Maybe their mom's not around.
This is my
maybe
prediction.
Their mom's not available. Maybe their mom's not cool like Addison's mom is. So they would listen to that podcast to hear what a cool mom would say.
This is my prediction. Someone opens up the podcast, presses play. In the first 7 seconds, there's no music and Addison doesn't hit the whoa. Next.
You're wrong, dude. Like that's not true, dude. Because if Netflix
less attention than a fucking goldfish,
dude.
Children have less of attention span than goldfish. A goldfish would pay attention longer.
You're 1,000% wrong, bro. Because why does Netflix fucking win? You can binge.
Not with the 7 to 12 demo. Not with the 7 to 12 demo.
You're wrong. You think a million kids didn't watch 13 Reasons Why? You don't think that kids sit at home and binge watch their favorite TV shows? I think
if it's successful, it's going to be the moms listening to podcasts. It's going to be the moms going, "Oh, well, I'll talk to my child about this. If Addison's mom can talk to Addison about this, then I will talk to my children about this."
That's a reason why. But
moms listen to podcasts.
Think of this: why is YouTube children YouTube so goddamn popular?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Mindless, dumb Spider-Man, Elsa entertainment.
This is where that the conversation is a different direction. The problem is not with attention span, bro. I 100% disagree. The problem is not with attention span. The problem is with valuing our time and attention so much that if we immediately smell that something is not worth our time, we click away. That's why on Instagram stories, it's like next. Because you've seen, okay, like I've seen this friend's Snapchats. They're never that exciting. They're never that exciting. Whoa, they actually did something exciting. I'll stay for 7 seconds. Okay, I'm leaving. But if you are so obsessed with someone, like these armies of people that are obsessed with Charli and Dixie, I mean, literally, if you go to the trending page right now, Dixie and Charli are on like 5 of the top videos on trending. That's insane.
I just don't think it'll convert to podcasts. I think podcast listeners are not YouTube watchers and are not TikTok watchers. Like, I just don't think. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I want to be wrong, but
here's what I'm saying.
Very confident.
Here's what I'm saying. Children do not listen to podcasts, but they have access to a phone, right? If they have TikTok. If Addison goes on her TikTok enough times and says, "Hey guys, this week I'm talking about this with my mom on my podcast. Hey guys, this week I'm talking to this on my mom on my podcast." 7 or 8 times you hear that. The kid goes, "Oh, I have Spotify already. That's where I listen to my music." And then they jump into podcasts and they start listening to podcasts. And where, for the rest of time, are they ever going to listen to podcasts? Only on Spotify, because that's where they listen to all of them. That's why Apple Podcasts won from the beginning, because the podcast app was downloaded on your phone, so you just keep listening there. And why would you switch? It works fine.
So you're addressing the benefit to Spotify, which I agree, if they get people to listen to Addison Rae at all.
But they're going to get new listeners.
But I literally think by the time a 7-year-old goes, "Hi, welcome to the Mommy and Me podcast where I talk to my mom about stuff," and there's no music and there's no dancing, they're going to be like, "Nah, I'm out."
How is there going to be dancing on a podcast?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All they do is watch Addison and her mom hit the whoa with music in the background.
You don't understand how this works then, because they're not obsessed with the dances and the music. They're obsessed with her. They're obsessed with this person, dude.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's why Addison, her videos on YouTube suck, and she's been on the trending page like 10 times.
Where do you?
Because they're obsessed with her.
Where do you consume podcasts the most? Gym, driving, doing chores, right?
You don't think kids do chores? Clean their room, do homework?
Yeah, they might throw a YouTube video in the background. Or might be scrolling on their TikTok while they're doing that. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. If they understand,
I think
kids want to be grown up, right?
I think there is
kids
zero.
Kids want to be grown up.
Zero demo. Dude, I can't. Dude, listen, like, I have nieces and nephews in that age range, and I promise
I'm not talking
you,
about 8-year-olds. I'm talking about like 12 and 13-year-olds. Those are still kids to me. Like Addison Rae is 19. So if all of her fans are younger than her, or even a little bit older than her.
7, 9, 14, 18. Those are my nieces and nephews' ages, right? I know every single one of them. And they, like, I know their attention span. I talk to them often. I know what types of platforms they're on. Like, I don't think in any way, shape, or form any of those children are ever going to listen to a podcast. They just don't give a fuck or have time to give a fuck or care.
Maybe the age groups are a little bit more niche. Like maybe it's from 12 to 16. You'll probably see that.
Dude, what I'm saying is, yeah, the vast majority of her 60 million followers on TikTok are not going to convert. But if 1% does,
that's not a lot of people.
That's a million people.
That's not worth a Spotify deal. I don't think for that much. I don't think.
Dude, a million people that are listening to podcasts for the very first time on a new platform.
You'll have to see if they stay. Out of those million, 1% of that, so 100,000 stay.
And over the next few years, millions more. I mean, dude, like to pay for one acquisition to get one person on Spotify, I'd be curious what the lifetime value of a person on Spotify is.
We'll see in a year, but I think it'll be good try. We found out it didn't work. Like, I think good try. Like, I think TikTok stars slap on TikTok because of TikTok, and they
slap on YouTube 100,000%, and brands are shelling out fuck tons of money, dude.
But to do,
you think Charlie and Dixie didn't make a bag with Morphe?
Oh,
you didn't think they didn't make a bag with Hollister?
We're talking about podcasts here. We're not talking about products and shit. I'm talking about podcasts.
Spotify is a product that you pay $9.99 a month for.
I'm talking about podcasts, bro. I'm talking about the product of consuming a podcast. In my opinion, the likelihood of the type of person that consumes dancing videos on TikTok is not going to convert to a podcast. They don't have the attention span. They do not have an hour and a half to set off to the side.
I watch dancing videos on TikTok.
Are you such a fan of Addison Rae that you're going to listen to?
I follow her. I think she's funny.
Are you going to listen to the podcast?
Probably. But it's only on Spotify, so I don't know.
Will you see if you like it?
But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify, so that's why I'm less likely to switch. But Joe Rogan is now on Spotify, and he's my favorite podcaster, so I'm probably gonna switch.
I haven't been listening to him much recently.
Me neither. Yeah. But that's the thing is like quarantine changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think Spotify is the only company offering exclusive podcast deals right now. Name another company that's offering exclusive podcast deals.
That Spotify is going to take over
Besides, what's that other
podcasts.
one that Russell Brand signed to? That one is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Spotify's making a lot of moves to do a lot of big things. I'm just saying I don't see a place where TikTok stars are going to convert onto podcasts. Where's the demo? Where's the demo?
I will challenge you. I would put some serious money if Spotify I don't know how much Spotify meant.
July 2020. Let's check back in July 2021 and see where TikTok podcasts are going on Spotify then.
I'll note it then.
We'll see. I would be very surprised. I mean, Spotify never releases their numbers, I don't think, so I don't know what the deal is for, how many episodes they signed for. I mean, the other thing is it's a brand new podcast, so maybe the podcast will suck. Maybe they won't have good podcast chemistry. But what I'm saying is, I think.
Well, hopefully they tested it before they bought it.
Probably. She took a whole week off of TikTok.
Yeah,
that was a crazy thing too. By the way, she literally all of her comments were saying why did you die? What happened? There was all these rumors that she died in a river. And she didn't post on Instagram. She didn't post on TikTok. She didn't post anywhere for a week, and people were freaking the fuck out. And it was because she was taking the time to do her podcast or whatever. But I think that they probably were recording all week. Spotify was editing it and figuring out what worked, what didn't, blah, blah, blah. If she was going to take a whole week off of her main thing, they must have paid her a shitload of money.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I can't in my head imagine a time or a place or why, unless maybe you might be able to get a kid over to Spotify.
What are we calling a kid, by the way?
A consumer of Addison Rae who is around Addison Rae's
She's
age
19.
Group. Okay, so let's say
22 that's college.
Okay, so but we
what
all
college students listen to podcasts? Probably a lot.
We all know that it's usually lower. So let's say 12 to 16. Getting a 12 to 16-year-old over to Spotify, sure. Downloading an episode, sure. But like regularly and consistently, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of cool to listen to." But I don't care.
It's like Gary Vee shit. He's like, if I buy the New York Jets, I'm sending every child in the New York area a Jets jersey so that when they grow, because if you think about it, like if you're a kid and someone sends you like a team jersey or something, you're going to be like stoked and you're going to want to cheer for that team. Like for example, I never went to UGA. None of my parents ever went to UGA, but like someone at some time gave me like a Georgia Bulldogs shirt. And so then like the first time I watched a Georgia Bulldogs game, I cheered for them because I'm like, oh yeah, I have a Bulldog shirt.
That's my team.
That's my team now or whatever. And like some of my people that I know are friends with them. And like I could root for Georgia Tech, but like, oh, fuck those guys. I've got a Georgia shirt. I'm a Georgia fan now. So it's like if you are growing up and the only time, like the only place that you know of to listen to podcasts is Spotify, when it's time for you to like grow up and consume podcasts, you're going to be like, how do I listen to podcasts? And you're like, oh, I know Addison Rae has one on Spotify. I already have Spotify. I can listen to podcasts there. You know what I mean? It's that implementing in your brain that Spotify is the place for podcasts. Spotify is the place for podcasts. Spotify.
I'm not disagreeing with that, and that's not even my argument at all. I'm making the argument that I don't think the kids will convert, and then you're arguing the fact that Spotify is going to be the place to get podcasts. Yes, I agree.
My main argument, I guess, wasn't necessarily that I think that I do think that they're going to get kids to convert. That's one side of my argument, but what I'm saying is that the value of paying for her is worth it.
Probably, but I just don't think that it's going.
So what is it worth it then if it's not converting kids?
I'm regardless of what Spotify does, I'm just saying like the challenge, and this goes all the way back from the point of saying just like buying people over to a platform usually doesn't work. Like you can't like,
and like you can't buy me right now. Like, but Joe Rogan got bought, so I'm probably gonna switch, which sucks. I don't want to switch to Spotify.
I mean, that's if you consume every single Joe Rogan episode. Watch every single Joe Rogan episode.
If I want to consume any. Starting in January, if I want to consume any Joe Rogan episodes, it's only on Spotify.
Right, it's an exclusive deal.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't have to consume every single one to switch over. If I want to consume anything, I have to switch over.
Any of his, right?
Exactly.
But I still like what is. I'm just talking about Addison Rae, and I'm talking about her converting her fans. People that know and like Addison Rae for the dancing and the TikToking, I do not think are going to convert and start all of a sudden magically becoming podcast people. Like,
how does David Dobrik have a very successful podcast then? His videos are 4 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it's him being crazy. It's very catered to children. It's very exciting, and he has over 1 million weekly listeners on his podcast.
Okay, so 1 million weekly listeners as opposed to 30 million views on...
He gets 10 million on his YouTube videos.
And does 3 videos a week. So
not anymore, like once or twice.
Okay, so 20
and he hasn't posted in months.
So
he hasn't posted since quarantine.
5% of people that moved over.
Do you know how much more podcast listens would count for a YouTube view? You're talking about someone sticking around for a 45-minute episode versus a 4-minute video.
Well, you don't know how long. It's just downloads. Someone could download it. I mean, my app's on automatic downloads all the time.
But here's the thing. Would you rather have podcast listeners that are loyal every single week, or would you rather have consistent YouTube views?
Consistent YouTube views? Absolutely.
I'd rather have a podcast audience. I think the podcast audience is way closer.
I don't disagree, and that's why we do the podcast. Podcast creates closeness. We know this. But we can also look at the fact that split between our other platforms of 110,000 people, there's maybe 1,000 here.
That's because we've only been doing it for 39 weeks, or 39 episodes.
But Addison Rae has done it for 0 weeks for 0 episodes. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like people just don't move over. Like they just don't move over. And if they know you for one thing, they're only going to keep watching you for that one thing. They're not going to... They have to already be into podcasts. They have to already like podcasts in order to switch over. Like there's a reason why like Logan Paul's subscribers and views on his vlogs are massive, and then you look at his podcast and it's like, I mean, okay. Podcasting is just so like not the thing. But like, I would love to see that conversion happen, but I'm not convinced because I haven't seen any evidence of anyone being able to do it, period. And I don't care if you're a 70 million popular ass TikToker, no one's going to convert over. If they do, it's going to be very little. The Joe Rogan example is you're taking an entire Joe Rogan package that lives here and moving it over here. So people are forced to follow.
Yes.
It's not, hey, I'm over on TikTok and I'm going to try something totally new in a completely different area. Come join me. And people are like, nah, I'm just going to keep watching you on TikTok.
But here's an example. Like, so Casey Neistat, as soon as he announced that he was starting a podcast, I like immediately ran to the podcast and started consuming every single episode because I love Casey as a YouTuber and I want to know more about him in a longer format. That's how people are with Addison and Charlie and all these people right now is like, that's why their YouTube videos are hitting trending consistently because they're consuming them on TikTok. They like their personality, like their people, but the max video you can put on TikTok is 1 minute. So they're going over to YouTube because they want to see their personality. They want to see them interact with their friends. They want to see like a vlog. They want to see how they are in real life. I think they would also be very interested to hear a candid conversation with her mom or something like that.
I don't disagree that it wouldn't be interesting. I just don't think people are going to convert. And I think Casey is a bad example because it was 20 to 30-ish entrepreneur-ish daily vlog filmmaker style people, and of course they're like, yeah, I would like to listen to more of what my mentor has to say about life.
But it was a couples therapy podcast. It was him and his wife.
Yeah, but they still discussed life and
but it wasn't
their relationship.
And
I'm just saying you got to think about the audience and the audience of people that consume Addison on. So it's like a young population on a young platform, kind of like being like, hey, all you kids out there, do you guys want to go ride on a train? I know your favorite race car driver. He's going to start riding trains. You want to go ride some trains with your favorite race car driver? They're like, nah, I'm just going to keep watching him race cars. I just think that you
underestimate the level that, okay, so like if like kids want to be grown up, right? If they know that adults and grown-ups listen to podcasts, they're going to be like, oh, maybe I should listen to podcasts. Like there's a reason why every popular person is like starting a podcast. You don't think that people are going to be curious enough, or like kids go on road trips with their parents, they're going to listen to a podcast or convince their parents to listen to the podcast.
I mean, I know there's a family, it's a mom and 3 kids that listen to this podcast, and I'm in regular communication, but she only listens to it when she's driving. Those kids don't drive. Those kids don't listen to it when they're studying. Those kids listen to it when their mom listens to it, not when they listen to it.
Well, I mean, either way, I think we've exhausted this point, but I think that we'll have to just check in a few months.
I would like to be wrong, because if I'm wrong, then that means we can push harder on our stuff to get people over here.
I just think like if you were to give a prediction of the next 10 years, do you think podcasts are going to get more popular or less?
I mean, if you look in the past 10 years, they've been getting more popular. So in the next 10 years, yes, definitely.
But do you think we're at the peak? Like if we're at the peak, then it's going to go down.
Well, I think these companies are investing more and more in trying to grab real estate. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's where like the Joe Rogan thing makes sense. It's like, oh, here's someone who's dominating podcast on YouTube and dominating podcast on Apple Podcast. Let's pay him a shit ton of money to move his stuff over to our platform. Okay, but it's like, hey, there's a kid that's doing dances on a separate app. Let's start up a podcast and guarantee, like, no one's going to move. Like if Addison already had a podcast on a podcasting platform and was doing really well, sure, Spotify buy him. But it's like she's doing something completely irrelevant.
But she started 1 year ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that it's going to evolve like so much more. And if you can grab any piece of those kids, like that's worth it.
Well, what do you think about 100%. like did Emma Chamberlain convert on her podcast? Like,
yeah, she won the Shorty Award for like best podcast of the year. She's had 2 successful podcasts. She started one and then started another one that's a completely different format.
But she was on YouTube, right? And on like Dance Moms or some shit like that, wasn't it? What did she get?
JoJo Siwa.
That's Joe. What did Emma started? I don't even know about Emma.
Emma Chamberlain is just some random girl that started vlogging and got super popular because she's funny.
Yeah.
She's just like a really normal, was a really normal girl. Now she's like famous and rich, but like,
I mean, probably still just as normal and weird. And
yeah,
awkward.
but she moved to LA and like now she's like, schmoozing it with rich people and buying like designer clothes and stuff. Whereas before she was just like a really basic white girl.
Business. It's called buying in, not selling out.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess again, we'll just have to see, but
we argued about this for a long time.
But
sorry everyone.
We did, but I mean, yeah, we'll just have to see. Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click right here. If you want to watch more clips, We got 2 more right over here.